Pilots have been notified. Airlines have been all notified. Airlines are agreeing with this. The safety of the American people and all people is our paramount concern.
President Trump orders the grounding of all Boeing 737 MAX planes in the U.S. We'll tell you what this means moving forward.
A severe storm blows the roof off an Amazon fulfillment center, and it lands just feet away from a car passing by.
Plus, the Earl Thomas saga is over. The free safety agent signed with another team today, and now Hawks fans can officially move on.
Today, the federal government issued an emergency order forcing the fleet of Boeing 737 MAX planes to stay on the ground.
All this follows 2 crashes in the past 5 months involving 737 MAX planes that together have killed 346 people. King 5's aviation specialist Glenn Farley has more on the announcement and where we go from here. Glenn.
Well, it's been another full day. Yesterday, the FAA said it had no reason to join most of the world in grounding the jets. This morning, Canada ordered its planes grounded, and then by this afternoon, the FAA made a similar decision. So what changed?
It's on every flight deck of every airliner and more. It's called ADS-B. That stands for Automatic Dependent Surveillance Broadcast. One of the things it does is tell us what a plane is or was doing, and it produces data like this. This is an image of the ADS-B signal from Ethiopian Flight 302 on Sunday, as recorded by Flight Radar 24. The crazy green line shows it erratically accelerating up, then down, then up again before ending after 3 minutes into its 6-minute flight. And what the FAA said this afternoon is that newly processed high-resolution ADS-B tracks, as gathered by satellite, show a disturbing similarity between Ethiopian and the October crash of a Lion Air MAX 8 back in October.
We're going to be issuing an emergency order of prohibition to ground all flights of the 737 MAX 8 and the 737 MAX 9.
The announcement first from President Trump that the U.S. government was now going to join the rest of the world and ground the MAX jet. So what changed from the FAA's continued resistance yesterday? In a conference call with reporters, acting FAA Administrator Dan Elwell.
We were resolute in our position that we would not take action until we had data to support taking action.
As the order is issued by the FAA, airlines had to ground the U.S. registered MAX jets, 74 of them flying for Southwest American and United, and complete flights already airborne. The concern is over a system called MCAS, a safety technology unique to the 737 MAX. It's designed to keep the nose of the plane from pitching up and the aircraft from stalling. The problem, if there's a sensor error, the system could push the plane into a dive. Now, pilots are trained to deal with the result when the trim adjusting the position of the horizontal stabilizer runs out of control, what they call runaway trim. By throwing a couple of switches, that can stop it. But pilots complain that they weren't even informed that the MCAS system even existed. Now, since the crash of Lion Air, the word has been put out by Boeing and the regulators, yet the question remains, did the pilots aboard the Ethiopian jet not get that message? If, in fact, the 2 planes actually suffered the same problem. 737 pilot and air safety analyst John Nance this afternoon.
No justification for grounded. It's a crew training matter, and the crew training can be solved almost overnight.
This week we saw Boeing using a 737 MAX 7 to conduct test flights. It's all part of testing for a software fix that would limit the ability of an error in MCAS to put the plane into a dive.
Now, the FAA seemed to be saying that they won't lift the grounding until that fix is finalized.
Okay, so we saw some data, but what about those black boxes? Weren't we supposed to be hearing from them?
There is a huge degree of frustration about the black boxes. There's been all sorts of rumors. Are they going to come here? Are they going to go to Germany? We now know this directly from the FAA. They're going to be flown to France tonight, so they should be on their way, tonight being Ethiopian time, which is about 10 hours ahead of us. And the recorders are damaged. The question is the internal chip damaged? So they could read it out in Ethiopia. They decided to go ahead and read it out in Europe, and hopefully everybody is waiting for some real, hard, detailed data about what went on.
So these will be European administrators
Right.
rather than U.S.
And there was some
administrators
concern,
looking at
some
that.
belief that the Ethiopians didn't want, since the plane was built here, didn't want the things to be read out here in the United States, and that's fine. I mean, the French, the Germans, you know, they're certainly capable of doing all of that.
Okay, Glenn, thank you.
Do you think the 737 MAX 8 plane should have been grounded? Text us about this or anything else you see throughout our newscast. The number is 206-448-4545.
Well, right now the sun is shining in downtown Seattle. We had a few spotty showers today. Craig Herrera joins us with a first look at the forecast. That's kind of a postcard shot there, Craig.
I love that. Just put a stamp on it, mail it out to your friends, and boy, that is gorgeous. And that's just one of the reasons we live here, right? Look how gorgeous. Another shot for you, looking back toward the city, looking up to the north. And yeah, a couple of lingering showers out there, but overall, not a whole lot. This is all coming to an end. We have some 50s back on the map. That's nice as well. Here's the radar. A couple of spotty showers down to the south, and not amounting to a whole lot, but nonetheless, you may get a couple of light sprinkles as the system just kind of dies out. It's fizzling out, and we've got some clear conditions up to the north and down to the south as well. As we look at Futurecast this evening, a few more spotty showers along the coast and South Puget Sound, and then look at this. Tomorrow, a new system is knocking on the door, but watch what happens as we put this in motion. It continues to move up to the north, so a chance for spotty showers along the coast and the northwest interior tomorrow. Major warm-up in the 7-day forecast. Mark, I'll have that in just a bit.
Thank you, Craig. Looking live at the Alaskan Way Viaduct, a major step forward today for the removal project. Crews are starting to demolish the 6 lanes of the double-deck main line. So this is new video of the work toward the south end of the viaduct. If you live or work nearby, it is expected to be noisy. The city allows crews to reach decibels of 90 decibels. That's as loud as a motorcycle. This is the biggest phase of the demo work. So far, about 20 million pounds of concrete and rebar have already been knocked down. That's about 15% of the total viaduct.
Seattle Mayor Jenny Durkan is asking voters to extend the multi-million-dollar library levy, and she's offering amnesty in return if the city council and voters agree to it. King 5's Chris Daniels has the details on the latest big money request.
Is Seattle ready to turn the page? It is the news story
I do know a lot.
at the public library.
My favorite number is 6 because I'm 6.
Matthew Hoyskick can't vote.
I like to learn new things, and books help me do that.
But does read.
Because my dad reads me fact books, and I look at facts a lot.
His family will be checking those facts and the fine print with a new figure released today.
I do read numbers, do numbers. I do numbers a lot at my school.
There are a lot of numbers to crunch in a new library levy request. Big money, 7 years, $213 million. Seattle's mayor said it would preserve Dewey Decimals and kill other digits.
We will be eliminating all of the overdue library fines.
Durkin promising a fine-free environment, along with maintaining existing services and adding 5,000 operational hours a year, plus seismic retrofitting of the historic University, Green Lake, and Columbia branches. The city says it will cost a median homeowner $7 more a month on top of the current property tax pie. Voters, like Matthew's dad, will have to read up on the individual tax impact.
They have a problem in books, and then they have a solution to the problem. That's my favorite thing.
A November vote will likely decide whether the believed support of the proposal is fact or fiction. In Seattle, Chris Daniels, King 5 News.
As you know, the Pacific Northwest is pretty damp, and that often leads to mold in homes.
But do you know what to do? And do you know your rights as a renter? King 5's Michelle Lee is here with some answers. Hi, Michelle.
Hi. You know, we're always trying to help people solve their problems. So when a guy named Steve Brown reached out to us about some mold in his rental home, we really wanted to do the best we could to offer him some resources at the very least. Steve says he's had mold in his Olalla home since January, and despite complaining to his landlord, it hasn't been been fixed, he says. In fact, he also says you can see that the landlord has previously tried to paint over a lot of moldy spots in his home. So if you're listening and you're a renter, you should know there are protections for you, also for the landlord, but that's all under the Landlord-Tenant Act. The problem is there's really not a lot of enforcement. Steve says he's learning that right now, and not only is he moving out, he has hired an attorney to recover the money he's out.
If you're average middle class, the only thing that you can do is hire an attorney on your own, out of your own pocket. I'm paying for all this today after 6 months of living here, and nothing's been done.
Now, in all fairness, we contacted the property management company that runs Steve's home, and we're still waiting a call back. But this really does serve as a lesson that it can be very difficult to enforce the laws designed to protect both the tenant and the landlord. So we have posted some resources, including that landlord-tenant law and what the state says about mold, how you can get an air quality test. It's all here if you text the word rent to 206-448-4545. And, you know, I'm going to open up the floodgates here, because if you have a problem that you would like us to look at, you can also just text us, and we will try to look at your problems. We can't solve everybody's problems, but we certainly want to help, especially with a case like mold in your home.
Exactly, Michelle.
Yeah.
And mold does cause physical problems as well, so it's important to pay attention to it.
Yes, absolutely. Even in the last hour, we were talking to, we were getting a lot of texts, and one person said that their son had a black mold issue in their apartment and had to go to Children's for about 4 days and had an infection in his esophagus. So it is something to be very serious about, and certainly this is a good place to start if you want to text the word rent.
Okay, Michelle, thank you. Other news now, Seattle police have nabbed a suspected voyeur causing concern in the University District. Police got a number of reports of a man looking into ground floor windows of apartments and homes while touching himself. The 26-year-old was taken into custody today and faces felony voyeurism charges.
We're learning a lot more tonight about the college admissions scam carried out by a California businessman involving wealthy, high-profile families. The ripple effects of the federal investigation reaching all the way to Capitol Hill. Jay Gray has the latest.
The scope of the college admissions scandal is growing. Unsealed court documents indicate William Rick Singer, the self-acknowledged mastermind of the con, collected as much as $25 million from as many as 800 families.
Singer used that money to bribe college officials, Division I coaches, college exam administrators, all to secure admission for the children of his clients, not on their merits, but through fraud.
Investigators say his client list includes corporate CEOs, money managers, lawyers, and actresses Felicity Huffman and Lori Loughlin. Loughlin, along with her husband, fashion designer Massimo Giannulli, allegedly agreed to pay bribes totaling $500,000 in exchange for having their 2 daughters designated as recruits to the USC crew team, despite the fact they did not participate in crew. Fallout from the investigation now stretches all the way to Capitol Hill.
Our timing could not be better.
Lawmakers discussing the issue during a previously scheduled hearing of the House Committee on Education and Labor.
We can all imagine how many students and parents are anxiously awaiting those letters on admissions today, and how, in many ways, powerless they must be feeling when they know they worked hard, played by the rules, and yet we have this scandal that we're all going to be following.
Federal agents say more arrests are possible as the investigation, dubbed Operation Varsity Blues, continues. Jay Gray, NBC News.
Coming up right here, a local high school star now getting a chance to coach the team he grew up watching, just in time for baseball's opening day.
And imagine driving and then this happens. A heavy storm rips off the roof of an Amazon fulfillment center, and it's all caught on camera.